Karolina Kucharska, Urszula Dubejko, and priest Michał Olszewski, political prisoners of the Tusk and Bodnar regimes, are finally free. They were released after spending 7 months without a sentence in extractive detention.
Mówili, że to był areszt wydobywczy.
They said it was an extractive detention, but it was extractive in the sense that your prayers got me out. Their nightmare began in late March. Agents of the Internal Security Agency came for Mrs. Urszula Dubejko on her birthday, March 26th, at 6 a.m. Immediately upon entering, I was handcuffed right in front of my child's eyes. They could have really spared us this, especially since I have not committed the slightest crime in my life, not even a misdemeanor. All detainees were treated as criminals, with the N category, the most dangerous. I felt like trash at times. Please don't even think like that. I know, but this feeling is stronger when a person is treated this way. This is how you start to feel. The handcuffs were used until the very end, even until a few days ago, during another interrogation at the National Prosecutor's Office. When I wanted to use the restroom, 2 officers, police escorts, handcuffed me to take me to the bathroom at the National Prosecutor's Office. On top of that, full isolation and sadistic treatment by the officers. I'm even a little ashamed to admit this, as also a person of faith, but I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. On the one hand, the light which made it difficult to fall asleep. On the other hand, the lack of electricity in the sockets, which made it impossible to even brew hot tea. On top of that, complete isolation, and the lack of permission to even have a rosary. At the time I received this package, it was stated that no, that the rosaries cannot be given to me. Why? Because they are not on the voucher. But I said, well, after all, there is a point. 10 religious objects are allowed. These 2 rosaries are also an object of religious worship. They said no. But the worst was the systemic stripping of dignity and humanity. I felt very bad. I was vomiting, so I had to go to the bathroom every now and then. I was accompanied by a female officer, which was not comfortable. Good thing it was not a male officer. Well, as it turned out later, that it would not always be female officers. Unfortunately, also the men looked at me as I took care of my physiological needs. They looked into the toilet. They even looked into the shower. After their arrest, I was faced with the choice whether to wash up or be sweaty and dirty after the whole night. But if I was to wash up, it meant undressing in front of that officer. He was looking through that window the whole time. He didn't go into that bathroom, but since I could look him in the eye, it meant that he could see my whole body. It was so humiliating. You could use the restroom not only in the presence of, but also only with the permission of the officers. Sometimes they agreed. Sometimes they made you wait. I called this officer and asked him to let me go to the toilet because I needed to vomit. And he said, throw up on the floor because now I can't let you out because someone is in the corridor. A very embarrassing situation and humiliating. This is all happening in the 21st century and a supposedly democratic country. Supposedly, because the real face of the so-called smiling Poland of Tusk and Bodnar is, as it turns out, political persecution and torture. It is my firm belief that this was because of Donald Tusk's political interests. The arrest of Father Olszewski, the 2 ladies, Mrs. Karolina and Mrs. Urszula, it was simply a political command without any basis. It was simply a spectacle. A spectacle to convince the public that there were violations of the law at the Ministry of Justice under the United Right government. But lawyers have no doubt it is the authors of this brutal spectacle who must be held accountable, from the principals to those who carried out their unlawful orders. This is an action of a criminal nature, which has the character of systemic abuse on the part of those who write in the order or in the arrest application that these are particularly dangerous individuals, thugs, the N category. Now, priest Michał Olszewski, Urszula Dubejko, and Karolina Kucharska are free, while they await the court's decision. What should I be wishing you now? That the faith I gained while in the detention center will last in me, and that the faith that was awakened in our nation will continue to develop, spreading to other people, because we have to fight for our homeland, for our country, for our beautiful Poland.